Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've had some delays. I apologize. The players having some connection issues, but they're all in here. Our game has begun. It's MeePwn'D's second official match. Their debut in Dota Pit. A little dicey. A star-studded roster, a lot of big, accomplished names on this team, but, well, we'll have to see if they have Tinker Syndrome. They've got a lot of former carry players, a lot of flashy players, and there's only so much space to go around on the map. They end up losing that first match, 1-2, but it's early. Still a lot of time to build momentum, and, well, they will be facing the mighty Empire. Your Star Ladder Season 11 champions looking beastly as ever. A team that's often come close, but rarely gone all the way. They did it finally, got the monkey off their back at a slightly weaker field in Star Ladder, still looking strong. And, well, with that said, this best of three, it's ready to begin. We hop into it now. Of course, I am not alone here. I'm LD. I'm joined by the KOTLGuy.
How's it going, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready to cast. I had the itch. I was here shaking, ready to go. And, of course, there was some delays, but happy to finally get underway here. But interesting matchup. Of course, Empire, we just saw very, very dominant. Almost went undefeated through the whole Star Ladder Season 11 tournament. And MeePwn'D got pwned in their matchup, of course, in the Dota Pit Season 3. So they're looking to bounce back. This is going to be a really, really tough test. Even in the early development of this draft, this is already going to be hard enough as it is. But this is going to be exciting, man. Alienware Cup, a nice little, very small, congested tournament. What is it, like 10 Gs of prize pool for only 4 days of play? Something I'm sure a lot of players love, to be able to get a lot of quick Dota underway and try to make some quick money. And, of course, coming into this matchup for the Dota 2 Lounge, really no surprise, Empire about the 80-20 favorites. And I don't know if this would be a value bet I'd even go for, but just talking about the early portion of this draft, of course, Empire, just for name's sake, you got to ban out Meepo because there's so many proficient Meepo players, I suppose, on the MeePwn'D side.
How disappointing is that? Like, come on, Empire. Give the fans some love. You know, let them have their Meepo, then crush it, but no mercy.
MeePwn'D do this to themselves with a name like that. I think it even happened, of course, to Team Tinker when they first rolled around, and Tinker was actually decent of a hero. It's just like, cool name. You're never going to play the hero, by the way. But
so they go for the Void Zeus. Now, I believe it was Weeha playing the Void in the previous series. By the way, did you get to watch any of those games? Because I tried to look them up. It was not. I don't think Dota Pit's ticketed yet, and at least the few match tickers I checked did not record the draft. So. But I did read the Team Liquid Live report thread was boning up on the little body of work MeePwn'D has, and they did run the Weeha Void, I believe, at least one game.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly who was playing what. I tuned in a little bit here and there. I had it up on my second monitor, but not gonna lie, I was also pubbing a little bit, so couldn't really give it a my all. But yeah, we'll see. It's not gonna be a traditional Weeha kind of Meepo. But if it is the Faceless Void, it's a hero we surprisingly did not see a lot of, even at Star Ladder. And I still could be very, very potent. They followed up with the Zeus because they decided to get the respect ban onto Yoki's Axe, which I believe is.
Oh, sorry, did I say Weeha? I believe it was actually Excalibur. Sorry, I got a little excited. I'm a little.
Take it easy.
Yeah,
take it easy.
I'm getting a little. This roster has got a lot of flashy players, man. So
yeah,
I feel like a lot of players that can go off and take over a game. Hani. Maybe not quite as young of a talent, but historically is a player who's taken over games for the old Fnatic. So there's a lot of cool things to look at with this lineup. You've got Simba and Hani reunited at long last, the old Fnatic buddies back in the saddle together. Kind of a team of rejects in some ways, you might say. Fly booted off of the old Secret, finalization booted off of Cloud9, and Hani, he was left behind in the great Fnatic exodus when they all started finding their new rosters. So I feel like this team should have some chips on their shoulders. Not to mention Excalibur was part of Tinker at first and ended up making the cut for the full roster. Weeha, well, there's been a little spicy drama surrounding him, to put it mildly.
Yeah, and it's with TI announcing that invites are coming in May. This is about the time to, you know, be able to get some teams together and try to show some potential and hopefully deserve an invite like that. And it requires to have top-notch performances even in these little cups, like Alienware Cup and Dota Pit, of course. So they're looking to try to get something rolling. Off to a bit of a shaky start here, and they have quite the challenge ahead of them.
I feel like for them, it's a good point. It's actually important for them to do well in these tournaments, mostly so they get invited to the bigger events like your ESLs, Dream Leagues, MLGs, the Summit 3, potentially Starlighter Season 12. Probably they at least get to play in the open qualifiers, but you never know. Sometimes these events don't have them, and unless you're able to prove yourself one of those big events, you're not going to have a great shot at qualifying for TI.
Yep, I agree.
10 seconds.
All right,
Absolutely.
so where do MeePwn'D go from here? The H Apparition Witch Doctor banned out, the big Chronosphere partners
5
removed.
seconds remaining.
I'm curious as well how they look to run this Zeus. Is this the support Zeus that we've seen from AUI 2000 back when Cloud9 was running it? Do we maybe see a core Zeus for Hani? I don't know. Is Hani even going mid? Is he support now? I have no idea. So many questions, Dakota.
And that's the thing with a team like this, they could just decide to flip the roles based on who plays what hero better. So I wouldn't even really get too tied into the idea that they might just kind of fit a certain play style. Maybe for this, Simba, of course, might just kind of still reside in the off lane. I just wouldn't be surprised if a certain pick works out in this draft and they decide to change it up. Like, oh, they have a proficient Lycan player or someone who plays Void really well, or their Axe player, and they try to switch it about and just try to find what groove works. Because who knows even how much that this team has had to scrim and against two and to find out what really works. So it's probably still a lot of trial and error for this kind of a young, rambunctious team. But I don't know, man. I can't help but feel like this is going to be a tough test. In the great words of IX Mike's desk analyst when he was there for one of the last drafts, don't start laughing yet, against Team Empire in the last game where they got the win with the Wisp Tiny. What do you do, Mike? What do you do against this? You lose. That was his advice. You just lose.
Famous last words by the mic.
He was right, though. He's 100% on his desk analysis, so in the end.
He can't go an hour, man, without just firing off at somebody. It's unbelievable. The guy needs a handler. I mean, I love it, but I wonder how many sponsors will feel the same way. He definitely makes things spicy. All right, Empire, so they get their tiny Wisp, and, well, we see where they want to go from here. Normally, it's, Night Stalker, actually, the pick. They've been running this a lot in the off lane, I believe, as well. You've cast this team. The Yoki Night Stalker has been a thing. Usually the tiny Wisp heads towards mid.
It's funny, I don't really see a whole lot. It feels like for Yoki, if he doesn't get his Axe, he usually fallbacks on something like a Tidehunter. But to get him something like a Night Stalker is pretty intriguing. He's not very big team fight oriented. It's more like he's going to look to build up that early XP and farm, and as soon as that first nighttime falls, he's hoping he has really enough behind him to try to meet that quota as far as getting a couple of pickoffs here and there. So you got to get a lot done early because it's a hero who could tend to fall off if things don't work off in the early game. So there could be a bit of pressure on this Night Stalker to make sure he gets a lot done. And we'll skip the Tidehunter. It's going to be MeePwn'D. You're going to grab it up on their side. So they have a lot of team fight right there, based around some pretty big ultimates. We're already with the Faceless Void and Tidehunter, but they certainly do have the burst with Zeus right there by their side.
It feels like both teams are very concerned about being burst, right? You've got a tiny Night Stalker, fairly tanky, Wisp backing them up. You're up against the Chronosphere Wombo combo now with the Tidehunter especially, but Night Stalker, tiny heroes that can live through this. And on the other side, tiny Wisp. You want to go for those easy pickoffs, but who's going to be an easy pickoff? Zeus, obviously, yes, if he gets caught. Void, potentially, depends if he gets the Chrono and eventually has a BKB. And Ogre Tide are beefy, so I feel like both teams, they're very concerned about living through that initial burst of the Chrono, the Avalanche Toss, and then they want to be able to turn the fights around from there instead of just instantly getting KO'd out of the gate.
Yeah, certainly so. But we
Gank
might
squad
see,
is in full force, man.
Yeah,
Storm,
we're
Tiny
gonna
Wisp,
see
Night
some.
Stalker. There's no team fight here. There's no real D push of any kind. I'm not that MeePwn'D pushed that hard, but Empire just going for a very spread the map, pick off centric lineup.
Somewhat greedy as well so far, but this is definitely a lineup that's going to force MeePwn'D to stay on their toes. There's going to be something coming any which way, especially around nighttime. So they definitely need to make sure they can put up their defenses. They really do have a very nice, beefy kind of a lineup, even with like Ogre Magi, someone who's able to like bodyguard those runes early on and really be the bodyguard in the early laning phase. You don't want to really hand anything over too easy because Empire's lineup is something that could snowball out of control so quick that there could be no recovery. But on the same end, if you're able to nip any sort of snowball in the butt beforehand, MeePwn'D could really come out on top. And wow, that's going to be a Sven right there as the final pick. I haven't seen this hero in quite a while.
All right. Well, they ban out the Disruptor, so Empire were expecting a core Zeus, it looks like. with the Sven pick, you've got 3 heroes that theoretically can play support. Generally, you'd expect the Ogre Zeus, I feel, but you never know. The Dazzle now the final selection for Empire. And I do want to point out, I love the Disruptor ban. You're up against, you're running a tiny Nightstalker Storm, 3 tower diving heroes that just want those quick picks. Well, Disruptor's great at counter-initiating against that. He's also good against Wisp in general.
Yeah.
Just glimpse the Wisp back, kill the Tiny, or vice versa. And combos well with Chronosphere Ravage to boot. So I think the Disruptor ban was very smart. Although that said, they end up going back for a core. So I've received word from the Twitterverse, by the way. It sounds like Hani's actually playing support right now.
All right. Well, we'll see if I wonder who also is going to be the one who calls the shots inside the game, or if they just kind of each do their own thing, or they actually have someone to kind of listen to and be behind on these kind of decision making. So imagine they're all playing from very far from each other. So deciding who's going to be the one to kind of take the reins is very interesting to me to see. While Empire is a team who already have very strong foundation of chemistry. You know, they've already coming off like a high win, a very big win at Star Ladder. They're probably feeling very, very confident. It's a tough test here for MeePwn'D at the start of this game.
It's
and a pause.
It's got to be one of the tougher tests in Europe right now. Cloud9, probably the toughest, to be honest. Cloud9 in Secret, maybe up there, but they're getting ready to go to DAC, not participate in any events. Nobody wants to show strategies heading into the Mini International. $2 million and rising, set to get started next week in China. But, well, Dakota, I am so excited. I cannot wait to see this new MeePwn'D lineup. How are they going to do? Will they be? There's so much potential here. All of these players, to me, players that can take over a game single-handedly. We saw it from Weeham back when he got his start on the Balkan Bears Corleone and the Summit qualifiers for Season 2. He played quite well in Star Ladder at points as well. Excalibur, who can forget his Tinker, wrecking face against DK for Fnatic at the Summit 1 LAN finals. PyLi, his infamous aggressive roaming support, sometimes feeds, but often gets great wards down that make a lot of space for his team. And, well, again, you mentioning Hani as a core, at least, has made huge plays. Not sure how much the Ogre will get done this game, but I just look at this lineup and feel like there's so many boom players who can boom, but I guess look at their draft. Potential for bust here as well. Very AoE-centric draft.
Yeah, very stylish players. They love to make the big plays, but, you know, how good is a team if it's like 5 Kobe Bryants? We'll have to see.
Somebody's got to pass the ball, and Kobe
Exactly.
not known for that.
Wow, look at this early skirmish that's going to break out just for that top bounty rune. Oh, boy. Well,
That Wisp wants his bottle. Aloha Dance, this is all for him. And it looks like he's going to grab it.
So big. I mean, that is the bottle. So he gets that, and he's halfway to level 2. So important for a Wisp to be able to get advantage of that bounty early on, and the whole team knows how important it is. And they've also already broken down the trees up and above. This is pretty cookie cutter for a Wisp Tiny, which is, you know, good execution at the start for Empire, but it can also be pretty predictable. I'm curious if MeePwn'D are going to look to take advantage of that at all. You see some teams will often look to venture into the opponent's woods and contest those stacks and pulls and not make it so easy. And I'm curious to see if they're going to look to use that to their advantage.
Yeah, they've definitely got heroes that can, right? You get Ravage, you've Chrono, you can go and fight. But the question will be, do they get them in a timely fashion where they can start going for those stacks before they're cleared out? And look at the lane. They're running a Sven mid. Pretty decent strength pool, so he's fairly resistant to burst. Their supports are not that strong defensively, though, as Simba takes a big pounding top lane, drop very low. But this is one of the more difficult heroes to kill. So I guess that's the goal here for me, Weeha, is just to limit the damage.
Sorry, LD, I'm going to have to go to the door. Apparently someone has a delivery. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, that's okay, buddy. I got you covered. In the famous words of Cuddle himself. Well, bottom lane, there's some heavy harass coming out as Yoki tries to go in on Excalibur. It looks like it's going to be our first blood one way or the other, and Excalibur able to retreat out. The support Zeus works his magic. An early takedown here for MeePwn'D as they get this laning stage underway with a blast. Both offlaners struggling, though. The Tidehunter chewing through that region rapidly, started with 2 full sets of tangos, now down to just 1. Nightstalker, well, he's got quite a bit more regen, but not so healthy in the lane itself. And with that, the first blood goes the way of MeePwn'D nice and quick.
Oh, what happened? I missed the first blood. Oh, man.
Fortunately, you're not doing camera this game. Yeah, it was just Zeus rotates in, Nightstalker overextended, and just kind of gets blown up with some heavy nukes. He was playing very aggressively in the lane. He was sitting like all the way up here.
MeePwn'D striking first. Works very good for them in this kind of a lineup where Empire are just looking to more snowball quickly. Simba, though, is in an awkward position here and actually has to back the other way, but I don't know if he's going to have enough regen to get away from this one. This should be a nice takedown, and they'll get it. They drop the Watermelon Man and even things up 1-1.
Well, Night Stalker getting clubbed now. These offlaners having a miserable start to the game is... Well, in the meantime, Sven knows the Wisp is off top lane. He can get a little more aggressive here on Resolution, but that's only for a little while. As the long-range tether comes in, Weeha now gets off the two-hero storm mode. He'll be able to retreat to the tower, has the bottle, can begin bottle... I was going to say crowing, but bottle walking his way back with the... whatever that pelican thing is. I'm not even sure.
I really like the Sven in the mid lane to contest the tiny Wisp, knowing that they're probably going to stay very close. That Stormhammer actually works out pretty nicely, as you saw there, to be able to stun them both and prevent them from really engaging. So it's just a fun little niche thing that they probably were anticipating going against this kind of lineup. Here they go again. He's probably going to turn, trying to go for it, but no, he gets tossed back all the way in. Does go with the stun, but it only catches Resolution, and he'll have to run. Oh, he's still eating so much damage. He has no more regen. They are on a hot pursuit. Boom! Right on your face.
You know, it's just amazing. Tiny Wisp, right? Like, teams have tried so many ways to deal with this in lane. I feel like I've seen every hero. Tidehunter, Axe, dual lanes, teams dual roaming on mid, and it just so often backfires. Like, on paper, the Sven looks like a good hero to match up against it, right? Because he's got high strength, so he's resistant to the combo. He's got high move speed from Warcry, so he can, to some extent, run away from the tethered Tiny. And high armor, so they can't really finish him off with auto tech. Doesn't matter. He still gets tossed back, run down. Tiny Wisp, dude. Just Tiny Wisp things.
That's why we see Wisp banned almost every game at StarLadder. And I don't know if MeePwn'D just had forgotten about it or weren't watching much StarLadder or maybe felt confident to go against it. But this is why we saw when Empire has the first pick, it's probably just a safe bet to get the ban there. But here we go. Aloha Dance. Eating a lot of damage here from Weeha. We'll get the long tether all the way back to Resolution, but he will have to forfeit that bounty renewal.
While that was happening, one offlaner goes down. Make it two as Simba is finished off. All aboard the feed train here for your Tidehunter, your Night Stalker. They are just getting wrecked by these defensive lanes, although Empire are doing it with a dual lane, whereas you see MeePwn'D getting these kills, but they're committing a tri-lane to get them, and, well, as a result, the Sven also suffering a bit mid. Let's check the stack situation here. So far, there's a triple stack already out at the big camp, and a triple stack here. Only one set of golems thus far, so things, I think, shaping up a bit more nicely for Empire. Also, free farming the Storm, getting good farm on Tiny in the lane, and obviously he'll get a lot out of the woods, so you'd expect Empire to have a bit of a lead, and indeed they do. About 1,000 gold lead here early on. Uh-oh, bottom lane.
It's nighttime. Yeah, it's time to make something happen. They're going to make the jump right on the PyliDie here, and poor little Zeus is going to get shaved and easily taken care of. Yoki, the bash! Turn back, he's still fine, all because of Aloha Dance being right there. He's going to get that sustain, but here comes Hani. He stun catches Yoki.
They just can't kill
Yoki.
Yoki.
Go down, but the Aloha Dance just hitting with the little pew-pew. He's going to get it done. Double kill for your Wisp.
Gets the Zeus, gets the Void, big plays, and Hani just clubbing Aloha Dance as he tethers to a creep. Will turn this one around a bit with the orb splashing in. What a manly Wisp Aloha Dance is playing right now. Genderless, perhaps, but he's a man in my heart anyway.
No gender, no turn rate.
Or a woman, but definitely not a boy or a girl. This is a grown-up Wisp.
And he's getting good levels. He's level 5 at almost 6 minutes in. It's pretty good for your support Wisp, who's usually in a dual lane situation a lot. He gets right by his comrade Resolution right there, and they're going to have relocate pretty dang quick. They see the bounty rune. He snags that up. PyliDie steps in, nukes him down. See you later, you genderless ball.
I love that little Zeus chuckle on the way out. He's
redemption from bottom lane.
Got him. Much needed kill. Level 5 Wisp is a good chunk of experience back the way of the Zeus, and still trading evenly here. I feel like it's a bit of a concern for MeePwn'D because you know the Tiny Wisp are going to go back to the woods, clear out those stacks. If they can get something done with their big ultimates, Chronosphere coming online fairly soon, Ravage fairly soon, maybe 2-3 minutes off, then they can look to contest. But until then, they're going to struggle to keep the pressure up.
You see there with Wisp return to the mid lane, that classic little fountain heal trick. You just pop up the overcharge, go to mid lane, and you give Resolution that sweet fountain rejuvenation there, and he goes right back up to full. Now he's eating a whole lot of damage right now from KOTLGuy, who's joined his comrade Sven to kind of help out in this early.
Just look how farm this Wisp is. Already Urn out, Bottle out, Magic Stick out. 2-1 and 2, and just having a huge impact on it. You give Wisp this good of a start, and it's really important against Zeus. Zeus, a hero that relies on just bursting you quickly, and, well, not to mention you're up against the Chrono, but
Yoki's here, though.
Here comes Yoki.
Yeah, he's looking to come in. Weehaw could be in trouble. There's the nuke, there's the toss, and Sven hits the deck. And here comes Hani. The rotation's a little late, but now they want to make something happen. Yoki pulls out the darkness, and KOTLGuy could be in trouble. Toss that Batman on forward, and they're able to rip apart the Zeus. Hani now caught between 3. Could be in trouble here. They look to turn back. There's your stun. It could be a 3-man takedown, and it will be. Yoki may have struggled in the early off-lane phase, but he's coming back with a double kill. Good for him.
They had a TP on Excalibur. He just got Chrono, but I don't think they had enough follow-up damage. Maybe could have gotten the resolution kill as he will get storm bolted. Weehaw going for the one-shot, and no kick, get it off. The Avalanche comes out. Oh, that's unfortunate. The tether slow, preventing him from getting off that quick attack, and then because of that, it allows them to get off the Avalanche and retreat out successfully.
Oh, always one fly gets the top DD room, but he eats the stun. Oh, the damage coming on through. He still has the shallow grave, but he will live and walk away with about 20 life.
There's just so many so close but so far moments right now for MeePwn'D, I feel like. You see the bottom fight where Nightstalker lives for literally 9,000 years. And now the Weehaw barely unable to get the kill in resolution. He's going to try for this one. Avalanche, oh, Tower. Maybe the MVP of this. Ooh. Close. No cigar.
That's the thing, is especially with Wisp Tiny, it's so deceptive. Like, you think you just got this weak and wounded Tiny, but with Wisp right there, it's never so easy. He's able to just bring out so much regen so damn quick, and he's already got plenty of earn charges, so you think you got an easy kill, but it's never that easy. And look at these stacks they have built up. Just so much side gold that they're going to be able to pocket up soon. This is a really nice start for Empire, and they haven't even really utilized Silent Storm Spirit yet, who's been finding decent farm here in the top lane.
There's a Storm in this game. That's when you know you're in trouble. Storm's quietly amassed a 5K net worth, and he hasn't even really gotten active. They will engage on Yoki or bottom lane. The Chronosphere comes out from Excalibur, but relocate waiting. KOTLGuy, the one who will get dunked first and foremost. Yoki will fall actually before him, but, well, forced to TP out as your Void, and that's after committing a big ultimate. Still, only a 1-for-1. A slight edge there, I guess, for MeePwn'D if you don't count the ult being used. They get an offlaner for support, but when you factor in that Chrono's now down for 2 minutes, it doesn't feel quite so sweet.
No, certainly not. And that silent farming Storm Spirit, who has top CS, 74 and 25. And he already has one Oblivion Staff. He's pushing right for that Orchid. I feel like that snowball that's going to be building up for Empire is already on a great track here. For MeePwn'D, they're going to have to look to find a way to shift it on back. You have Weehaw and Hani here. In the mid lane, they really haven't been able to add much pressure on any of the towers either to find some side objectives to kind of help build it up and makes things a bit you get a bit nervous here for MeePwn'D at this point.
You can see the potential of their draft if you catch Empire up in a clump, right? You Chrono, you Ravage, Bloodlusted Sven just going apeshit in the middle of it all, but Empire just playing pick you apart Dota. They're not going to look to 5-man unless they have a critical mass of an advantage. Otherwise, Silent will be getting his Orchid, going for pickoffs. Nightstalker will be roaming around and trying to spread chaos in the backlines, and it's MeePwn'D who just struggle to find these opportunities. They do want to contest the stacks now, though. They have a haste on Sven. Can they make it happen? This could be the perfect opening.
Oh, he already used the toss, and now they scout him out. Resolution could get dropped. They even commit Simba's ultimate there. The big Ravage to take down Tiny. Now Aloha Dance could get caught out. Gets the long tether over there to always want to fly. They'll be fine, but there is MeePwn'D taking advantage of the predictability of both Tiny and Wisp doing those stacks.
Oh, ballsy move back into the fight by Always Want to Fly. He does have a grave, though.
Be okay. Drops the weave. KOTLGuy steps back, thinks he can get the kill, but here comes Silent. He's been silent up to this point, but now he's looking to engage. Gets the 1 kill there. Killing spree for him. They are able to burst down, dazzle quickly, but Weehaw will drop himself. Now Simba, it could be by 1 here, as I'm sure they're going to be able to heal up Silent's mana a little bit, but no. With this TP out, he'll make it out just safe.
Man, they get the Tiny kill. They could have just backed. They stick around, and it ends up being a 2-for-2. I think still good for MeePwn'D to at least do something to slow him down, but then you end up feeding Storm kills. Now 4-0-0. Oblivion Staff number 2 nearly complete. We're looking at like a 15 to 17 minute Orchid mostly depending if he dies at all. If he doesn't, probably close to that 15-minute mark. And this is during daytime. I just don't think it's good enough for MeePwn.
Not anymore. 12-minute strikes, and it's nighttime once more. Resolution. Gonna get slowed down, stunned a bit, but Aloha dances there on his wisps. He'll be A-okay, and the relocate comes. They go top lane, and well, there was a Tidehunter there, I think. By the time I shifted over to the relocate, he was already gone.
Yeah, I just caught his watermelon corpse melting into the earth. It was not a pretty sight. And they're already back mid, looking to apply pressure here as well.
It's a perfect hitman job. Just a nice little hit and run. Go to top lane, come back, and continue out your CS like really nothing ever happened.
Speaking of hit and runs, double damage Night Stalker. They want this big dive in on Weeha, and he's in trouble now. Although, there is going to be a little bit of a backstab from Hani, but the Night Stalker's tanky. Healed up by the Dazzle, just plinked down. He can't get off the grave, though. Quickly dealt with as they chrono. Only, actually on the Wisp. Okay, they only get one, but they get the most important one. Perhaps, no, not enough to get the kill. Now earns up, the turn's going to come. They don't have a Ravage for 20 seconds. Yoki getting chunked down, but everybody too terrible. He's tossed back to safety. Get the hell out of here. Get to the chopper, says Resolution. He'll get
Another
away.
one of those cases where it's just so close yet so far. A pesky little ball's able to just go, see ya. Go right back over to the other side, and they can't quite get it. And they lose so much more.
And while they're busy committing so much to these, like, MeePwn send 5, Empire send 3 or 4, and then they're taking objectives. They take the tower top lane, Silent, Orchid online. I said 15 to 17 minutes. I think he actually had something in the stash. He's already got the Orchid. So it's a 14-minute Orchid for him. It should be delivered by then, and good luck. You can't really go off on your own right now. Yeah.
Nowhere is safe. You question what's going to be the turning point here for MeePwn. They're trying to get it this far, maybe on Faceless Void, who's still trying to get his Mask of Madness now complete here in the bottom lane. He'll have a little bit of space to work with, but they're going to continue to go on the hunt while the nighttime is still fresh.
Just look at the dire vision. This is unbelievable.
Yep.
When that Dazzle moved through, Always Want to Fly got done some sweet wards for them. And when you're running Tiny Wisp Storm, this is just so good. You always know where that next meal is.
This is where you need the buddy-buddy system on the MeePwn side. No going out on your own. Tie a rope somewhere and be able to get back. Leave a trail of breadcrumbs if you have to. Just get back home safely if you can.
It's true. The problem is you do that, then you just get out farmed. It's a lose-lose. Like, they don't have to fight you.
Oh, they're going to find Excalibur here. He's able to quickly time walk back to his allies who are smoked up. They have Ravage, not much more mana on top of that. They could look to turn this one around if they can get it quickly. Silent eats a bit of damage there. Jumps forward if PyLi die. But here comes the relocate right into the middle, right into a Ravage. Nicely set up. Do they have the burst to take him down? Always Want to Fly is going to get off the shallow grave. He'll be okay, but they take down Aloha Dance. Silent now looking to go. Gets his mega kill streak. They trade 1 for 1. PyLi die immediately buys back, and Empire are going to be on the way out.
We wanting to engage. He'll get silence, though, and speaking of silences, Mr. Silent wants to retreat out. The chrono comes from Excalibur. Then they stun Always Want to Fly, who does not have a grave. He does barely have a heal, and Silent continues to fight. Wisp, no buyback. Tiny back in, though. Looks for the dunk, and he'll get it. Bringing down the Void. They end up taking down the Sven as well. It cost them the Storm Spirit, but despite what looks like an overwhelming force superiority here for MeePwn, it's really not. Ends up being a 3 for 3. And they look for the 4th kill. PyLi die. This is a dieback, it looks like, for your Zeus. He gets chunked down. One more swipe of those claws. Batman nets another. Oh, that's just... You know MeePwn they know their situation. They have to go for plays like that. You kill the Wisp and he doesn't buy back. That is time to go immediately. Commit heavily, but they just can't get it done.
And that was one of the best opportunities this game so far, but after you've already committed your big combo, your big ultimates, Empire can just truck on through after rejuvenating a little bit, and they take the rest of the fight, and they're the janitors. They clean up. Now it's 18 to 11, and at this point, MeePwn are like, how can we do even better than that? Like, how do we take it to the next level and just kind of shatter through Empire at this point? After they continue to just build up so much farm, and they're winning these teamfight engagements.
Oh yeah, by the way,
steep hill.
This is the bad place for Tidehunter to go. This is where Empire do horrible things to him. So they're gonna get that easy relocated, and now they're gonna take a tier 1 bottom. They're just thoroughly outmaneuvering MeePwn everywhere they go.
This is just Empire. They know their Tiny Wisp. They're warmed up. They've already been through the gauntlet of Star Ladder. Alien Cup, That's nothing.
The alien
they're
cup.
Probably so confident.
Decoder, please.
The aliens cup.
Oh no. Alienware, I apologize in advance if you're watching. We're trying here, man. We're trying. Some of us are still recovering from that Starladder land. But mid lane, Silent gets blown up. Nice takedown on the Storm. But in exchange, they may lose Excalibur as Resolution chases onwards. This forces out a TP reaction, but they can't quite go on.
Do have Chrono, but Excalibur needs to get healed up if they want to even consider an engagement. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're still trying to get their first tower on the side of MeePwn'D, but they're already going to have to pull on back. And the struggle continues here.
All right, I'm having some reports the stream is not working, although XSplit says it is.
Looks good to me. I have it on my second monitor. I see it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just a regional thing. 'Cause, yeah, I just checked it and it looks okay. Can you just keep an eye on it? Let me know if it has any issues. All right, cool. Thanks, buddy.
No problem.
All right, well, we settled down now into the mid game. Empire having a very comfy 10K gold lead, excellent late game, 6K, 7K experience lead. It's pretty overwhelming, to be honest. They've got the map control. They have those aggressive wards. All they have to do is not throw a fight, and they're in great shape heading forward.
And they continue to pressure top lane. You can see Simba is just desperate to try to even get the Blink Dagger on his Tidehunter. Obviously, past the quota time he'd like to have it. Even a level 2 Ravage would certainly be nice at this point for them to be able to really utilize their big ults in these fights where they're hoping to really have the upper hand. So it's a matter of just kind of stalling out a little bit, itemizing a bit more, and hoping for the best in the upcoming engagement here. But Empire will just continue to find the majority of the farm across the map and get the objectives. So
it just feels like
quick.
It feels like MeePwn'D are in a very awkward situation where their heroes fight really well when their ults are up, but the ults have long cooldowns. Whereas you look at Empire, these heroes have no cooldowns. I guess relocate, but that's about it. Like as long as darkness is online or it's nighttime, you could just keep on fighting. And MeePwn'D have to stick together so they don't get ganked. They get 1 or 2 kills with their ultis and trade, but you have to get clean 3-4 kills to make the draft work.
All right, this is going to be another attempt right here from MeePwn'D as they smoke up and go towards the mid lane. They jump in, and Dazzle is going to be slaughtered. He gets absolutely decimated there in the mid lane, which is a nice straight pick for them.
He really did get wrecked. Oh,
but
man.
They'll take every little bit they can, but they follow it up with a nice little objective. So one of the more promising trades that we've seen so far from MeePwn'D, certainly one step in the right direction.
Yeah, and the big thing there is no Chrono use, no Ravage use, just a clean kill. Although, even then, Tiny still gets this top lane pushed in. Nightstalker still pushing bottom. I did circle it earlier, but he's gone Midas. So they're looking to have a solid Tricore if this goes late, and I think that's well advised. You are up against a massive AoE combo. If you have just one farm carry, they can blow all their ultis and maybe just kill him, even if it's a super stack Tiny. So you get 2-3 farm cores, and then MeePwn'D have to hit not a good Chrono, but not a good Ravage, but great ones to be able to take those fights.
That was daytime. That was MeePwn'D's one of their best chances. Now with nighttime falling, and you can see Empire already looking to get a bit aggressive here at this point. Silence scouting out nearby, has Orchid near 2K gold, and they go ahead and put up the weave, jumping forward. Hani's going to be in trouble. The pull back, the heal bomb. The big Ravage does come through to save him, but he will end up dropping regardless. Shallow Grave there for Resolution. Chrono's going to fly out. He goes right for Aloha Dance to get rid of that pesky Wisp, and we'll be able to get him. It's a 2-for-1 trade. A buyback also coming out from Hani. Resolution desperate to try to get away. Will get chopped right there from Simba. MeePwn'D on the climb back here, getting a big fight going their way, including a takedown of Silent as well, who I believe had a decent bounty on his head.
Oh man, what a huge fight. They're going to take down 4. They get the Tiny, they get the Storm. Lone Survivor, your Nightstalker, right into the Roche pit on the back of it. What a turn of events for MeePwn'D. That, my friend, is a 3,500, well, maybe 3,400 gold swing. And an Aegis likely going their way. Buyback's not available on anyone except Storm. Do they even get a trade here? Maybe the Zeus dies mid. Yoki jumping in. No, just quick TP out from PyLiDi, who also grabbed a Midas of his own. I didn't notice that pickup, but looks like he's had it for a little while. Can they finish the Roche, though? Oh, no. Have they just given Empire a free Aegis? It looks like they might have. They can't do it fast enough. Now they're being chased out. MeePwn'D going a bit too far in the end. Empire getting 1. Looks like it'll be 2. And the Aegis goes back their way. So what looked like a massive swing maybe not so big in the end after all.
There's
no Chrono, there's no Ravage, Void's dead. You can't contest this.
When you're going into the Roche pit and you're swinging pillows, it's going to take a while to try to take him down. It's
really
take him down to a third life, and it just makes things even easier for Empire at this point.
Dakota, I thought maybe I don't know if you caught the games earlier that I was casting, but we had 2 ridiculous comebacks by the Ninjas in Pajamas as they took down Asus Polar, and like frankly games that Asus Polar just should not have lost. Like flat out should have won both games, no question. And I kind of felt that way about this game for Empire. Then I look at that fight, I'm like, maybe MeePwn'D could turn it. Great decision making. The Wisp getting chronoed, so he couldn't go for the defensive relocate. Really nice Ravage by Simba to start it off. They target selected well in that last fight, and yeah, you see just a slight overextension. Suddenly, you're feeding an Aegis, the 3 cores of Empire right back on top, and they just can't make mistakes.
Ninjas in Pajamas with 2 big comebacks against Polar. I hope the Illidan factor wasn't too strong.
It was a lukewarm Illidan. It was not like a massive throw by him. There was the one game he was a really fat anti-mage. He goes up on high ground, had a Shadow Demon behind him, but slightly overextends and ends up dying. I don't know. On the Illidan scale, it was definitely minor.
Bottom lane, they swarm onto Excalibur. Take him down quickly. Now you see the rotations coming on through. They get a hold of Hani, toss up the big ogre, and with one more swing, they'll be able to take him down easily. Weehaw comes in, but the relocate already is on the way out.
Oh, I'll take this tower as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So kills and objectives still happening here for Empire, and what looked like a prominent advantage for MeePwn'D for a while has already been reclaimed from the Empire.
That was their best fight all game, and it's just completely, it evaporates after 2 kills and an Aegis. Like suddenly you lose all your map control again, all the lanes are pushed in, anyone who goes off on their own dies. Now your Ancients are being stolen from bad to worse. I feel like they're combating a Hydra. You cut off the one head and there's 2 more in its place.
MeePwn'D need to really bring it together at this point. They do have their Blink on Tidehunter with a level 2 Ravage. Weehaw does have a double damage bottled up on his Sven. So these are some of the best opportunities you could ask for. I do question, though, it's an interesting bit of synergy to try to have Faceless Void and Sven on the same team, landing down a big Chrono.
It's very hit or miss.
Yeah. You have to make sure you either have a really deliciously good Chronosphere for someone like Weehaw to be able to really go to town, or just try to not get Weehaw involved whatsoever near that Chrono.
I mean, could be amazing. I feel like part of the reason why they picked the Sven was just to deal with the Tiny Wisp in lane. You know, we saw the potential for him to maybe survive, but he's jumped on mid, and they bring in the relocate. Chrono was waiting, but Weehaw ends up going down regardless. The Wisp will fall, so at least they get that, but now they chuck up and bring down the Void. Ravage committed. They've now dropped a Ravage, a Zeus ult, and a Chrono, and it's a 2-for-1, just a Wisp. The trade is Tony gets a toss. That'll be a Tidehunter down as well. This is going from bad to worse.
And Silent almost died, but with a great save right there from Always Want to Fly in that shallow grave, he's able to just walk away. And it's going to only be a 3-for-1 trade, and Empire continue to look dominant. They'll press down this mid lane and should be able to go for the next structure here. And MeePwn'D, who already just committed all those ultimates, they don't have much of a defense and might have to see some more structures fall.
When their ultis are down, they have like no tower defense at all. I mean, wave clear, very weak. Initiation, it's just the Sven, who's also currently dead, but Empire are going to play it safe, maybe worried about potential buybacks, potentially just not feeling any sense of urgency. The Aegis going to expire soon on resolution, as I think you just mentioned, but that's okay. He's your leader net worth, doubling up that Sven mid, and Warcry will help them deal with the Tiny, but it doesn't fully solve their problems. He still does a lot of nuke damage. They've got a Storm who does a nice mix, and even with Warcry, heroes still melt.
I really like the Night Stalker in this game. When you're going against a lineup that is pretty dependent around ultimates, and Night Stalker with his recent buffs and how much restriction on vision there is in the darkness. Jumping in Silent, hungry for a kill right here. Goes for the
he just wants the
tomato. And my creeps now. Now jumps forward, goes at the Orchid on the Weehaw here, pulls him back in. Big damage, relocate comes on through. There's a ball, and they toss it right on his head. Quick takedown right there for Weehaw. Your core ends up being dropped, and Empire find a nice sweet pick. But yeah, and the Night Stalkers will be able to pick up an Agnems as well. That restriction of vision on both wards and heroes alike who are dependent on being able to have a big jump in and a big start. That's going to be rough. I really like the Night Stalker grab from Empire.
Yeah, and I think once he gets Ags, then they pick up a gem, and MeePwn'D just don't leave their base. If they leave their base, it's a very deep, desperate smoke that will probably be expected. But just going back to that jump, that was such just heads-up play by Empire. They obviously had written down the cooldowns on the Ravage Chrono. They know for certain the Ravage isn't up. Chrono was about 10 seconds short, and they just go in. And now the Aegis has been pumped. Resolution, free fountain trip for him. Empire just punishing these ultimates. Anytime they're on cooldown, they go from aggressive to hyper-aggressive in a matter of seconds.
Ooh, Yoki.
Oh, Simba!
Oh, he does the
He hesitates.
He already popped the BKB. Yoki's going to be fine. He heads home. Simba, now no Ravage. Oh, boy. Oh, no.
I feel like there's an appropriate soundboard effect for that one.
I don't know if you heard it, but...
Oh, I did.
Okay. Yeah. That's
how I feel right
morally
now.
devastating at that point. What a quick reaction from Yoki, though.
I mean, I guess in good news, there's no Rosh yet, so it's not like Empire can take an Aegis objective, but maybe they just look to push down mid, knowing Ravage is on cooldown.
Yeah, I imagine so. They'll look to push forward. Yeah, there's still that Chrono, but I think they got plenty to be able to take on something like that. They'll be well spread and ready. MeePwn'D, man, they got to look to try to go to plan B, plan C, whatever at this point, and dig deep on being able to pull up a strong defense and maybe consider what they can offer as far as high ground defense. But you can see Resolution, just no mercy for this tower.
And Silent is just doing such a good job of scouting, finding these heroes off from their own. Simba will be dealt with, and in the meantime, there's a Chrono under Resolution. Aloha Dance barely trapped on the boundary of it, but it doesn't matter. He's Grave. He'll survive. Now the turn comes. They look for Hani as well. No Ravage, no chance in hell you take this fight. This should be another dead as Hani drops low. Resolution. Oh, not going to commit to it. The Weehaw rotation back into the fight will force them back for now. The tower dropping, and he barely thwarts their efforts to dive further.
That just shows how far ahead Empire are. They get a nice setup with the Chrono, and KOTLGuy dishing out huge nuke damage, of course, with his Zeus. But after everything is done, they pop their mech, they pop their heals, and they're A-okay to continue fighting. And now they'll pull back.
No gem gold yet. No gem gold on Wisp, nothing on Dazzle, but that, at this point, that's the biggest item for Empire. Forget about Tiny getting his 4th, 5th damage item, getting 6-slotted. You get the gem on Night Stalker, and it's starvation. It's the starvation diet for MeePwn'D.
And what? I'm just trying to think. What do you do at this point if you're MeePwn'D? They're just got to try their best to synergize all their ultimates when they are up, and hoping that they can get some good catch-offs. But it's 30-19 at this point with a over 20K net worth lead for Empire. You have MeePwn'D who are able to only take down one tier 1 tower so far, that in the mid lane. Maybe you start thinking that for next game, you got to make sure there's going to be no Wisp.
Yeah. I mean, Empire go with the... They did first pick the Wisp, so I guess you look to the next game, MeePwn'D, they should have first pick. They maybe grab it themselves, or if Empire ban it, then perhaps like that Meepo slips through, or something else juicy that they'd like to grab, but it's... I don't know. No matter what teams do, at best it's a struggle against Wisp. It's rare that you see a Wisp lineup just get run over nowadays.
And so with that, MeePwn'D, they move as a full 5-man unit here. Let's see if they have any smokes. They have a smoke and stash here for Hani. Maybe this could be their YOLO smoke. Try to bring it back at this point.
It's just going to be so obvious, though. Like, you look at the wards for Empire, pretty aggressive wards. Top lane isn't that pushed in, but they still have a tier 1 tower there. And if MeePwn'D try to go for something, high likelihood that Empire's waiting for it, are baiting somebody, and they're getting Aegis anyway. So now you're fighting against 2 lives on the rock, man. And it's a one-trick pony for MeePwn'D. They're all about the big combo. The Ravage, Chrono, no Refresher Void in sight. Difficult to get away with that nowadays in the new patch with the increased mana cost. And, well, you don't have a Refresher in your Tidehunter either. So I feel like Aegis is just kind of the trump card for this style of draft.
Yeah. Yeah, because you'll be committing way too much to even try to burst through that first life, and you'll really have nothing left for the second go-around. There's a reprieve of Empire's true team fight engagement, and you see there, finalization pops up the ultimate. They see the inevitable Aegis being dropped, and now Empire will just stride themselves forward. They're pushing down both mid and bottom lane. And they're going to go for the final raw here and look to break into the high ground here of MeePwn'D.
Yeah, the
How
gem
is
now
their high ground defense going to be, though?
They're getting dewarded all over the place. They've got one solitary ward on the map, and I'm not sure if this ward even comes into play. They're going to go bottom. They're popping the Manta, Resolution committing onto this tower, and Glyph not available. This thing's gonna melt. Excalibur has the Chrono ready. Storm's gonna jump in though. Starts the party on finalization. Chrono forced out. Did not catch the Tiny. Did not catch the Wiz. Are not stopping these Rex from getting clubbed on the boundary of it, and now they lose a melee. They may well lose more. They've committed Chrono. They've now committed Ravage. Zeus has bought back. Weeha's getting pounded from the rear as Yoki and Resolution happily run him down. They'll finish him off too. Now you're tied, and GG any moment, man. This is over.
Yeah. Empire just cleaning up the remains of what's left, even tossing Yoki all the way forward. Get in there, Batman!
Yoki's like, what the hell, dude? I thought we were friends.
Uh-oh, not going anywhere. There's the quick Yules. See you later. Gem
That's
hits
the gem down. Okay, well, Empire giving MeePwn'D some fresh legs for this game, I guess. But I do want to point out, Dakota, Tiny, half health, never popped the Aegis. And that's with the Wisp dead. This guy is just not dying easy.
It's so hard too. 323 damage. He's got 30 armor. You're not going to be able to break the rock. Can't stop the rock, you know.
That is for sure. And Daedalus. All right. Well, the good news for MeePwn'D is Tiny's running out of inventory slots. The bad news is, by the time he does, there's a very high chance that their base is dead.
Plus you have Silent, who's able to just kind of go in there, find his target, and be able to quickly take them down. It was a good effort right there from MeePwn'D. They throw out the Chrono, but they try to make even a go on Wisp, and even the Wisp is proven to be so difficult to take down because they're cracking through so much armor. Already on the Tiny, but plus the weave that comes out from Dazzle. He's got the Shallow Grave, and it just creates long-winded fights, which MeePwn'D are not good with. They're hoping to jump in there, dish out their huge ultimates, and just quickly clean up. If the fight goes on too long, they don't have much to really come back for round number 2. Whereas Empire is all about round number 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. They're ready to just keep on muscling.
Yeah, they not only have heroes that can always fight as far as their cores go, but they've got the great defensive supports. The Grave, Dazzle, Ulti, defensive relocate, and the way they're playing the fights leaves MeePwn'D with like no options. Storm just jumps in. He knows he might get chronoed. Maybe he even dies if somehow the Dazzle can't Grave him, which is pretty unlikely with how farmed he is. But it doesn't matter, because they have to blow Chrono, so they can't get the Tiny Wisp together. So Tiny is guaranteed to destroy at least a lane of Rax. And it's almost like a checkmate maneuver as far as how you start the fight. And this is 2 lanes of Rax. This is not looking good.
They'll pop the Glyph. Resolution still has the Aegis. Weehaw goes in, wants to burst on Aloha Dance, and there's that Grave, so it's not so easy. They got to wait a bit, but there's the Chrono. They'll lock him in place and be able to clean him up. Meanwhile, back behind, you can see Weehaw and Silent tussling, but Weehaw will end up being dropped. So it ends up being a trade of a 1-for-1, and they will have the Weehaw buyback. The Ravage is up. They move in, they get it. They're able to burst down Resolution's Aegis while still trying to cleave home the back lines, but they're still A-okay. They get caught out. Silence gets the pull in. Excalibur gets stunned, as you can see. Yoki with his BKB pop will muscle forward, and they take down the dieback. Now from the
Jesus, dude. And, did you see that crit? He just splattered the Void's brains all over the sidewalk. He might not have eyes, but whatever is in that noggin is also gone now. And they're taking 3. They're going for the jugular. Resolution, no more Aegis, but a completed butterfly inbound for him. A buyback now from the Void. That's a buyback on Void. One used earlier by the Zeus, and of course Sven also buying back and dying again. It's a catastrophe once more. Now a 35,000 gold lead and still rising for Empire. One of the most brutal beatdowns in recent Dota memory. Perhaps in ancient Dota memory. It's just a beatdown. Any way you slice it.
Yeah. Given they're not out after this, it's a best of 3, so there is wiggle room for MeePwn'D to try to bounce back and take it to a game number 3, but it is single elimination here, so the pressure will be on them. to try to take it to a game number 3. Otherwise, Empire, who were the heavy favorites coming into this one, just will muscle their way through the Alienware Cup. And
not really a good way to debut your new roster. It's not great for morale when you get taken down 2-1 by a team with Sexy Bambo, Fucky Mad, a group of kind of journeyman veterans that have not really achieved big LAN results or anything of particular note as of late. Historically have gotten some stuff done in Dota 2, but you don't look at them as like a Cloud9 secret. You look at them as a team that you should be able to take down, but they weren't able to do it. Now Excalibur pulled back in by Silent, and he may just go down here. He's got a Chrono. He's going to drop it and dies to the Remnant. Silent,
oh my God,
running rings around him. How much does that one hurt? Maybe he dies here, Grave. Oh, always want to fly on the cusp, but that's okay. We'll take Midrex instead. You may have gotten our Storm, but he's already up again. BOT's ready.
He hits like a freaking truck. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I would stay away from that. That's your raid boss. That you're just like.
This is where you smoke and you just run, hugging the tree line towards the top lane, so you're not there when your base falls apart. But it's too late for that now. They've got them pinned back in the well. Simba's trapped. The GGs fly out as MeePwn'D are now fighting Tony in the well, and he's winning. He's taking down Simba, literally invulnerable between the overcharge, the butterfly, the mass armor. GG. That was ugly.
Certainly was. So we'll have to see what MeePwn'D do. I believe they should be first pick in game number 2, and that's the thing, man. Empire, they have a pretty deep hero pool where you think that you might need to now consider making sure they don't have the benefit of picking up the Wisp, or you just take the Wisp yourself. You might risk leaving something in the pool that they're going to be really good with as well, whether it's like the Yoki Axe or maybe even the Beastmaster that we've seen Resolution playing a lot of. Regardless, MeePwn'D, hopefully they can shake this one off and come back, but it's match point right now for Empire as we go into game number 2.
Well, that was ugly. Good news is they'll have a fresh start for game number 2. It's a best of 3 this time around. They should have first pick, so maybe that Wisp slips through. They get their hands on it. Maybe the Meepo is not banned. Well, to see if that's going to be the case, guys, you'll just have to stick around. Game 2 of this best of 3 coming up next. He's KOTLGuy. You can follow him on Twitter at, well, KOTLGuy. No surprises there. Myself at LDDota if you'd like. And in just a few moments here, we'll return for game number 2 of this best of 3. You're watching the Alienware Area 51 Dota 2 Cup. Quick and dirty. Just 3 more days to go. Just one best of 3 today. Two more days of action to follow this up. The winner of this series takes home $1,500, and the winner of the whole tournament, $4,500. That said, we'll be right back for game 2.